The challenges facing the country never stop. So neither does the U.S. Army. We train, adapt, and get smarter. Every soldier, every unit, every day. Not to keep up with change, but to drive it. Nobody knows what problems tomorrow will bring, but we do know who will solve them.
Sanford, North Carolina, Chris Delambert and Brandon Atkins.
Got money, got fame, fast cars and everything. I gotta say.
All right, welcome back from Cheap Seats right here in Sanford, North Carolina. Chris Delambert, Trent, Nichols in the house today. And I feel a little self-conscious with the video cameras running.
Do you?
Yeah, I really do.
I'm used to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
Because we live stream at home all the time. We're always there.
I don't do anything at my house that's worthy of live streaming. So you guys know the whole story about the brick wall that went up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been busting about that for a couple days.
Are you done?
Sort of.
What?
Done enough to pass for now. So I ordered 14 cases of brick. I needed 15. Oh. So I had to leave a little gap, but I put it such that the headboard covers it. It looks great. It looks really good. I'll bring you a picture.
Is Nedge okay with it?
Nedge loves it. I mean, she's cool with it, but she was of no help through the entire process.
Well, she did watch that video on YouTube on how to do it.
She did. And today I get home, and the last case of brick is sitting on my porch when I come through the door.
Yeah.
And I notice as I pull up that the box is there, and I'm like, cool. And then as I get out of the car, I realize there's a second thing on my porch too. And I'm like, oh, that's what that is. So we have a little, you've been in the house, we have a little sort of breakfast area adjacent to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And we have a tall table over there, and my wife, who just had the carpet ripped out of our living room area, has bought her third rug in the course of a week and a half to cover the area rugs.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm glad that we spent all that money to rip out the carpet so that we could put carpets down. But anyway,
the vacuum's got to do something.
Right. So there's this rug there, and I look at it, and it dawns on me that my wife believes that this is an equitable relationship because she believes in her heart of hearts that her ordering a rug off the internet is equal in terms of effort expended to me spending 5.5 days building a brick wall for her. I finally made sense of that, and now I'm at peace with it.
Okay.
And I understand that's what the issue is she's like, I'm doing my part, dude. What are you talking about? Click, click, done. You're good. I got it. So whatever. I do have to say that she's a pretty accomplished decorator. She missed her calling. She should have been a designer. She came up with an idea, and she hit me up with it. And I know my wife well enough that I've got her figured out. So this weekend she hits me and she says, well, I want to show you something, but I don't think you're going to like it because it's kind of crazy. But I want to see what you think. Now, at face value, I know you very well, Chris. I have an idea of what you like and what you don't like. And this is too extreme, so I need you to talk me off the ledge. Does that sound like what she was saying to me?
No.
No, it was absolutely not. What was she saying?
She was saying, I love this. I don't really care.
Nope.
But I'm going to pretend to get your blessing.
Nope, she's smarter than that. And she's smarter than you too, obviously. Because what she was doing was she was laying the groundwork that I was going to look at something so extreme that I was going to be repulsed by it. So that's how I fixed my mind.
Oh, so then you looked at it and goes, oh, that ain't that bad.
Exactly!
And then she could get it.
Yes! And that's exactly what happened.
No!
And I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, I just got.
Zooted.
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice job.
Women smarter than men. all the time,
Well,
every day.
Duh.
So she got me. So what she wants to get is, it's the women's equivalent of a fathead. You know, when fatheads started, they were all sports stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, that technology has crept over into every part of design. So what she is going to buy, I'm certain, is a mural of Queen Elizabeth with neck tattoos and tattoos on her face. It's dope.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like 8 foot by 8 foot. We have the perfect wall for it to go on. It will be amazing. But I'm like, yeah, you got me.
Wow.
And I didn't even know what she was doing. Now I'm prepared the next time she pulls that off. But you know I'm ADD. I'm going to have forgotten this whole dialogue that we just had.
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes after the show's over, and she'll do it again 3 or 4 days from now, and I'll be like, oh, she got me again.
The biggest mistake in this whole conversation is that you said you know your wife well enough, you figured her out, and then you totally just contradicted yourself because she got you. We can never. They always tell you do not get comfortable, because when you get comfortable, that's when they're going to come and they're going to fire you. Well, you just did that. I figured it out. I know her. Boom.
I think the key here is,
nothing.
though, I think the key is just that I know my wife smarter than I am.
Okay. Well, that is true. You got to know that.
And I know that when it is all said and done, my wife in every circumstance is going to get what she wants.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether she's going to wait me out, whether she's going to trick me, or whether she's just going to do it in spite of me. It's going to happen, especially as it applies to something in the house. She's a believer, and Oprah is the problem here. She read an article or saw something, but Oprah is affixed to it anyway. But Oprah put forth to women across the country and the world that they should make their house the one place in the world they want to be. It doesn't. Nobody's ever said that to men, and men are not included in that. My wife believes it, and she is going to make that happen.
What about our man caves?
Dude, first of all, the term man cave just shows how lame we are. When you get relegated to one spot in the house, whether it's, your study, your man cave is such a horrible term.
How many caves have you walked in like, oh my God, I want to spend all my life in this cave?
I don't know. I got an ex-wife that had me to the point where I would have preferred to live in a cave than with her. So there you go. No offense to ex-wives out there.
No.
Sure.
None taken.
Anything going on in college basketball this week?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. All right. Well, let's move. No, I'm just playing. The brackets have been announced.
Yes, they have.
I'm going to ask you, before we even start this, who's going to win the national championship? Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Who's going to win the national championship? I think that I am sipping on the Kool-Aid that most of America is.
You sipping on that Z-flavored Kool-Aid?
I'm staying with the Brotherhood.
You know what? Now that I think about it, the athlete that Zion Williamson most resembles in terms of body type might be the Kool-Aid Man. I mean, he's a big, thick dude. Remember they had the things where he had like the headband on.
Yeah, I disagree. I think to me he reminds me of Blake Griffin when Blake was in college.
That's not a half bad comparison. I hadn't thought about that.
When I was watching him against Carolina, he's kind of like I don't really like his shooting form, and he definitely has to get better at the free throw shooting.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's all this magical dunks and all that stuff that I'm like, maybe he's going to be like a Blake Griffin.
The difference between he and Griffin is that Zion is more adept at putting the ball on the floor. Blake Griffin could finish on the break and do it spectacularly, but he was pretty much a post player when he was at Oklahoma. He was an amazing talent.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away, but that is a really good comparison. And in terms of guys in the last 15 years or so, I think it's a real apt comparison. He had never jumped into my head.
So I think it's a lot closer than the LeBron type comparison.
The funny thing is that early on this season, people were like, "Whoa, he's like Kendrick Perkins was in college, or Glenn Davis." and these big post players that were very one-dimensional. I'm like, no, not at all. This guy can play really the two.
Yeah.
Amazingly skilled with the ball in his hands for that size, and I can't even imagine. We used to play a game when I was in high school, and it would be either or. And the one that we would always come back to in that day and age, would you rather be run over by Bo Jackson or punched by Mike Tyson? And Zion Williamson is in that class now. And in fact, I think I'd rather be run over by Bo Jackson than by Zion Williamson. Yeah. I can't imagine taking a charge from that kid when he's got a full head of steam. I mean, that would detach your retinas and knock your fillings out of your mouth.
The Carolina game, that referee almost died. If Zion didn't pull up a little bit, that ref was scared. He almost jumped into the third row to get out of his way. He could have died.
I'm sitting in class today at Central, which is in Durham, shares a city with
Could
Duke.
be playing Duke.
I know, which really sucks.
Up.
Because I had it in my head before the brackets were released. I'm just going to pencil Central into the Sweet 16. But no, they get Duke in the first round. No, they do not get to go.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, assuming they get past North Dakota State.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Play-in
I got them in the playing game. So then they can say, yeah, they won, even though it really didn't count. It's kind of stupid. NCAA, get your stuff together with regard to that. But, yeah, come on, man. You got schools that share a city. Why would you do that, man? Match them up in the first round? Come on, man. That's lame. And I'm going to go back to what I've said a million times before this year. If you insist on having these playing games, the playing games have to be given to at-large teams. This is crap, taking conference champs and making them play into the tournament. I hate it. NCAA, fix that. It's not fair. And your playing games get underway
tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night. You've got
tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say you got two of them tonight and two of them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Belmont at Temple. Belmont got an at-large, and well-deserved, by the way. They got an at-large after losing to Murray State in their championship game. Mm-hmm. The crazy part about how the seedings work is Belmont gets an 11 seed. They lost to Murray State in the finals of their conference tournament. Murray State's a 12.
What?
And doesn't have to play in a playing game.
Nope.
Dude, explain that to me.
I have no idea.
I don't get it at all. It doesn't make any sense. There is no universe in which that makes any sense.
The only sense it makes is that the 12 is that magical seed.
That's perfect, and that's exactly what I was going to say next, is that 12s always beat 5s.
Yeah.
And I think this year is no exception. I think Murray State gets through that.
I actually have them beating Murray State in the first round. Yeah.
That's why. We're twins. Well done. All right, but the playing games. Carolina Central, my alma mater, my beloved Central. The Eagles, they're going to get past North Dakota State, and then they get to run up into Duke and get beat by 40. Farley Dickinson plays Prairie View. Belmont plays Temple, and Arizona State plays St. John's. Arizona State's got to be feeling lucky. You know, the Pac-12 looked last week like they might only get one team into the tournament. They finally, in the end, got 3, Washington, Oregon, and Arizona State. But Arizona State, for all their efforts, gets to play St. John's to get in. And I think, I don't have it in front of me, but off the top of my head, I think St. John's had to play in last year too.
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I think they did. I feel like they played, I don't know. I just feel like they played in last year. Anyway, which region would you like to start with? I'm going to give you the choice: East, South, West, Midwest.
Let's go west and work our way back.
West. All right, you got it up. You looking?
I'm ready.
All right, you're tracking. I'm not going to dwell on the games that are chalk. Gonzaga gets through the first round, no doubt.
Yep.
I'm taking Syracuse over Baylor just because Syracuse is such an unbelievably bad matchup for anybody. It doesn't matter how good or bad Syracuse is in the regular season. In their worst year, they can beat teams in the first couple rounds of the tournament because that zone drives people nuts and makes them want to poke their eyes out. Marquette, Murray State. You said you've got Murray State coming out of there. Let me tell you something. Murray State, if you folks at home have not seen Ja Morant play basketball yet this year, you absolutely have to find your way to a television set and watch Murray State in the first round.
Jim Valvano's greatest legacy is the V Foundation. You can help join the fight, give the gift of time. We need passion, we need teamwork and momentum. The time to act is now. There's not a moment to lose.
Welcome back to From the Cheap Seats.
All right, welcome back from the Cheap Seats. Talking about the NCAA tournament, Western quadrant of the
West region.
John Morant, this guy is a cool story, man. And in the age of one and dones, where the vast majority of kids coming into college come with a great deal of hoopla out of the high school / AAU factories and come to school with the idea of being there for 15 minutes and going to the NBA, John Morant is a kid that got recruited by no one. He's a sophomore there at Murray State, 6'3", maybe the most explosive guard in the country. This kid has Russell Westbrook type athleticism.
Oh, yeah, he can put the team on his back for 40 minutes.
Yes.
Easily.
He absolutely can, and that's what he's going to have to do if Murray State's going to do anything. But those of you who haven't seen John Morant yet this year, this kid, I am going to predict today that Morant is the second player taken in the NBA draft behind Zion Williamson. There are actually folks out there floating the idea that Morant should be taken number one. In most years, I wouldn't have beef with that, but Williamson is so huge in terms of personality, draw, brand, everything else. You can't pass on this kid.
Yeah.
This kid is an industry unto himself. He may sign the biggest rookie sneaker deal in the history of shoes. He will bring people into the stands. He'll bring people into the stands when he's on the road. This kid is going to be something else, and if he plays up to his potential and stays healthy, it's not a stretch to say this kid may not be one of the best 5 players to ever play if he plays up to that potential and stays healthy. He is transformational. I was thinking last night who to compare Williamson to in terms of draft prospects and their supposed can't-miss status. I've got to go back to David Robinson. And even in the David Robinson draft, which, I don't even know what year it was. It had to be 86, something like that, 87. The David Robinson issue was that he had to go to the academy. Now, had he not gone to the Naval Academy and into the Navy after graduating from the Naval Academy, God knows how much bigger the hoopla could have been. But there was no doubt, even with his commitment to the Navy, there was never even a serious conversation about anybody going number one. David Robinson was that good, and his talent was going to translate to the NBA. There was no question about it. People want to say Jordan. Jordan wasn't even the first player taken in his draft. He's drafted third. And anybody that says that coming out of college there was that much hoopla associated with Jordan is misremembering.
Well, no, you're
history.
forgetting about LeBron, though.
That was going to bring me to LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron, here's my thing. It's easy from this point, 14 years into the future, to say that LeBron was a stone-cold lock to go number one, but there was a legit case made by people to take Carmelo number one. And, of course, the Pistons turned everything on its ear and took Darko Milicic instead of Carmelo with the second pick. And that Pistons team was a world championship team. Had Melo gone to that team with Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, those guys, and learned to play the game the right way, to play both ways, that is not a team that would have stood for any nonsense. It may have changed the trajectory of everything. I mean, Carmelo might really be something that he never became, but that's neither here nor there. But Zion Williamson, there is real legit talk that's not going to come to fruition. I mean, he will be the number one player.
So you
taken.
think Ja will be number two?
I really think he may be.
Okay.
And it's going to depend on the fit. I'll tell you right now that if Phoenix gets the second pick, cancel Christmas. If you put Ja Morant onto that team with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, oh my God.
Does he need to perform? Do they need to win this game for him to be that high in the draft?
Winning this game doesn't mean a thing.
Okay.
And here's the reason. He's going to match up with Marcus Howard. who is one of the best scorers in the country, but he's an undersized kid at 5'11".
Big East Player of the Year.
He is.
25 points per game.
One of the few people that's outscoring Ja Morant, who averaged 24.6. The problem is that if he goes out against Marquette and puts up 40, win or lose, it's not going to change anything. Personnel guys have already seen him, whatever. Here's the thing, though. If he gets into the second round and gets an opportunity to play against Florida State, that will have an impact one way or the other, a dramatic impact.
Yeah.
Because that's a long team that is going to push him up and down the floor. They're going to challenge him every time down the floor both ways. His performance against Florida State, if he goes out there and puts up 25 or 30 and Murray State keeps it close, then he's
Florida
locked.
State beats Vermont.
Well, everything has to fall that way. But I'm saying that Florida State has NBA-type players on that roster, some of whom will legitimately be NBA players, but they have length, they have athleticism. They will pose a challenge he hasn't seen from anybody who's played this year. If he is able to do it against Florida State, whether win or lose, and he has a good showing, I think that solidifies his position. If he goes out there and gets locked down, you could see him tumble, and everybody will chalk it up and say, well, he's playing against inferior competition out there. The OVC is what it is. That's the problem.
Marquette's lost 5 out of their last 6. It's hard for a team to get on track in the NCAA. You want to be on track getting into the tournament. So I think Murray State's a very big opportunity to win this. Florida State, Vermont.
Well, let's talk about that 12-5 spot for a second, because that's, folks at home, we said we were going to give you rules to live by. We're not going to tell you who you have to pick, but you have to choose at least one 12-5 upset. You have to do not turn in a bracket unless you've chosen one 12-5 upset, or you're just going to get your heart broken.
Yeah.
I would suggest you choose 2. That's your first rule of the day.
Yep.
You hit on any of your rules yet?
No, I mean, that's my rule. I mean, I said pick 3, but this year it looks like I've picked 2 out of the 4 12 seeds.
You picked 2 of them?
Yep.
So did I. We'll see if we had the other one the same. But like I said, with Murray State and Ja Morant, if you only see one game in the first round and it's not somebody you have a rooting interest in, make sure it's Murray State. You have to watch this kid play. He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The athleticism. And the thing is when you hear 24.6 points a game, in this day and age, you assume, he's shooting, all these threes. No, the kid's hitting a 3-pointer a game. He is not a sharpshooter. He will drive. He will finish. He will get the ball to the 10. The kid is a throwback player with amazing athleticism, plays both ways. I have read in 3 places in the last 2 days that Ja Morant is the first player, or will be the first player, since fill-in-the-blank year to average 20 points and 10 assists in a season. Now, not the least of which was Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report said, I think he'd be the first Division I player since 1985. Now, here's the situation. Do you know when assists became a stat in the NCAA?
1982.
83, 84. That was a good guess. Very good guess. I have scoured the NCAA database. I've been all over the place with sportsreference.com. I've been everywhere. I cannot find another player in the history of college basketball that has averaged 20 points and 10 assists per game. There are some guys that if you round up are close, but 20 points and 10 assists is something I cannot find anybody has done. If you know somebody, if I'm missing somebody and I'm just looking past those guys, email us at cheapseatradio@gmail.com. cheapseatradio@gmail.com. If you find somebody that I missed, I'll send you a T-shirt. Guaranteed. But here's the situation. This kid, and now, granted, it's only been a stat now since 83, but that's 35 years. Nobody in 35 years in college basketball, not at a small school, not at a mid-major, not in a power conference, has averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds. This kid's doing it as a sophomore with a team behind him that is not very good. He's carried this team to 27-4. They are hot. You said Marquette's lost 4
5
or 5?
out of 6.
5 out of 6?
Yep.
Dude, if you don't take Murray State at home, you're doing it at your own peril. Just telling you, Murray State will be the 12-5 upset. And it's almost like, if you look at the bracket, like I said, with Belmont being an 11 and having to play in Murray State, it doesn't make any sense, but it's almost as if the NCAA is like, we already see the 12-5 upset. We're going to manipulate this. We're just going to keep the trend going. So, Murray State, your 12-5 there. See if there's anything else I want to spit out about Murray State. Looked up all kinds of stuff about these guys. No, there you go.
All right.
But there are 3 losses this year, or there are 4 losses. Bama and Auburn got them early in the season. They lost to Belmont, who's a tournament team, and they lost to Jacksonville State, who finished the season 24-9. So no bad losses out there. Murray State, your squad, taking this 12-5 upset.
You're listening to Chris Delambert and Brandon Atkins on From the Cheap Seats, a production of Cheap Seats Radio.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.